Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. So today's video, we're actually going to talk about Chucky. It's incredible. It's almost like I don't talk about him enough because there's only so many times I can say the same thing over and over again. But today I want to talk about Chucky faking. So let's go over what that is exactly. Now, I don't have any clips of it. I actually do. They're just very difficult to find because I don't feel like going through hours of VOD footage to find this when I can just explain it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you know what it is. Basically, Chucky faking is when you're in hidey-ho mode and Slice and Dice is ready to go. Instead of fully charging it, you just about 75% charge it, and Chucky will still go like he's charging it. The survivor will hear that, and they'll start to dodge. He'll also pick up his knife and do the animation that way. So I want to use this to... we're getting into a bigger topic on this video with that in a second, but I do want to say that to the Chucky players, this is a very viable strategy. It can be very good, especially on loops you know you can't hit at, but the survivor doesn't. It's also very good out in the open because it makes you faster. And it's a lot easier to hit than a Slice and Dice in an open area sometimes. My suggestion with it also is if you really want to commit to doing Chucky fakes and get better at them, run the Silk Pillow add-on. It will lower the charge rate, or let me rephrase that. It will increase the charge rate, so it actually looks like you're charging it for longer than you actually are. And most survivors are not used to that timing. It can really mess them up. In general, though, Chucky faking is a very viable strategy and can get you some free hits a lot of the times because the survivors are going to be too worried about dodging. So what did I mean by this is going to lead us into a bigger topic? Well, I wanted to do a video on something about Chucky, and I couldn't think of one that was going to be longer than about a minute, which Chucky faking was. What a shocker. I wanted to bring this into the topic of zoning and killers faking their powers to get value, and whether or not it is healthy or a good idea on some killers. The ones that come to mind to me are Deathslinger and Pyramid Head in particular. They are two killers who are not necessarily well known for doing it, especially not Deathslinger, but I play him that way. More so Pyramid Head. There's a lot of complaints that Pyramid Heads don't often go for the M2s, and instead they will fake their M2s, only go for the guaranteed hits, and zone you out just by existing. Xenomorph does the same thing when their tail is out to a degree. I've heard complaints about that. Nemesis does it with the whip. There's a lot of killers that can do things like this. Now, is this a viable strategy? 100% it's a viable strategy. And on killers like Pyramid Head, I think it's probably the best strategy. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some very good Pyramid Head players who get insane hits that they probably shouldn't based on predicting the survivor. However, when you're learning Pyramid Head, I would advise going for those hits to try to learn the timings and whatnot. But it can be very frustrating to not get those hits when you could just zone them at a pallet or a window and guarantee the hit on the M1. Now, the other problem with it is, why is this so common? Well, on Pyramid Head, like I said, the M2 is very easy to dodge if the survivor knows what they're doing, and the Pyramid Head isn't pinpoint accurate. On top of that, there isn't much incentive to go for the M2 hit versus the M1 if you have the option. When I'm playing Chucky, for example, if I'm right up next to a survivor, there is no reason for me to Slice and Dice them versus basic attacking. There is no benefit to it at all, really, especially if my cooldown is 50% down, right? There's just nothing, no reason to do it. So the M2 faking is a way to get to that point, but it also means that I can't... Like, I have no reason to go for the Slice and Dice versus the M1 if the option's there. Same thing with Pyramid Head, same thing with Deathslinger, same thing with Nemesis. Nemesis is a little different because it can add slowdown, I suppose, but that's about the only thing it does. If you're already at max mutation and all of the survivors are already infected, there is no reason to go for the tentacle hit if you can just get the M1. You get the same results, and on some of the killers, like Nemesis, who usually runs Save the Best for last, like, why would I go for the M2? The M1 will serve me better most of the time. I'll get a slower cooldown, and I'll be able to catch up faster in a lot of these things. I don't think it's inherently unhealthy or bad design. I do think it can be very frustrating, and it's kind of boring to play against, especially Deathslinger and Pyramid Head, in my opinion, because they can basically zone you out without ever using their power. The threat of the power is more than enough. And if you play Deathslinger like I do, eventually you basically Pavlonian the survivors into not wanting to dodge, so later in the map you can hit every single shot because they're not trying. But let me know what you guys think about zoning and faking powers. Like I said, I don't think it's inherently a bad thing for the game, but it can be rather annoying. And if there should be a way to maybe punish killers somehow for trying to use their powers in a way of just zoning and faking. I think Nurse is a good example of a killer who can't really fake her power too much. You can, like, blink on the spot, but that's about it. Because once you hold the blink, you can't stop it. I think Hillbilly is another example of a killer who can kind of fake his power a little bit. He can threaten the chainsaw, so can Bubba. But like Legion can't fake his power, right? Legion commits. Wesker can fake kind of, but not after the first lunge, right? It's either he does the second one or he doesn't. Like, there's no way for him to actually fake it and zone with it after that. So I'm curious if there's ways they could implement this into the other killers. Once again, I think it's a perfectly viable strategy, especially on Pyramid Head. I'm going to keep harking on that because Pyramid Head is one of the main cases for it. But I do think there needs to maybe be a look at to see if there's a way to possibly, quote, fix it with the other killers. As always, this is just me rambling about something in the game. This started off with Chucky faking, which, once again, you should definitely do, and there will be more of it in the guide, I promise, whenever that comes out. But, yeah, as always, let me know what you guys think. Links are below. We are streaming 3 days a week right now. The new interview series is up. You should check that out. It came out tomorrow. The link will be for it below. In any case, I love y'all. Have a good one. And, yeah, bye.